Glib Audiostories presents The Psychic, Episode 7, by Silas Scott and Pinkleet. A man with a scarred face, clearly from trying to scratch his skin off, would laugh maniacally. With a quick flourish of his hand, people who were running from him would drop, a white wisp leaving their mouths and floating into small jars on his person. He would laugh as he stepped over the bodies passing them. A few people would escape, one of them being Gideon, who would press a big red button, iron doors shutting and closing out the scarred man. Gideon would start to yell out orders to the others, when one of them would seemingly stop and look directly at Rob, tilting her head slightly. "Who are you?" she would ask, reaching out slowly toward Rob. Rob woke up, screaming as well as crying. Hearing Rob cry, Gideon jumped out of bed without hesitation, running into his room. "Rob, what's wrong? Are you okay?" he asked, hurrying to the bed to check on Rob. When Rob heard someone coming, he tried desperately to calm himself down, but he was panicking and hyperventilating. I... Gideon would wrap his arms around Rob. "It's okay. It's over. You're awake now. Just take in some deep breaths. Everything is okay." No, it's not. It was... You were... And... Rob couldn't catch his breath. Details of the dream kept replaying in his mind. What if... He was shaking and heaving. The nightmares had really terrified him. And what if it came true? "Shh, it's okay. It hasn't happened yet. Just focus on your breathing, and we'll discuss what you saw," Gideon would say, trying to comfort Rob. "It's all going to be okay." Rob just sat, curled up into a ball, crying and shaking. After a while, he pressed into the man's chest, still curled up. Gideon hugged Rob, letting him sob and cry as he sat with him, rubbing his back and keeping him company. This was weird to Rob. He hadn't had anyone try to comfort him in 2 years. Even before that, his dad had never been any good at it. As long as Rob didn't push him away, though, Gideon stayed by his side, hugging him and trying gently to get him to calm down, making sure he was all right. Rob would slowly calm down, and in about 30 minutes, his heart would still beat fast, but he would mostly be better. "See? Everything is okay," Gideon said with a reassuring smile. "Now, what do you want to do? We can stay up and talk or get some fresh air. Or if you're okay, you can try to go back to bed." Rob shook his head quickly. No, I can't sleep anymore. I think some fresh air would be nice. Thanks." Gideon nodded. "All right, you get dressed and I'll grab some coats. We can just walk around the city." "What time is it?" Rob asked, rubbing his eyes. "It's about 3:30 in the morning," Gideon said calmly. "Should we go on a walk this late?" "It's fine. You don't need to worry about anything. No one will bother us." Rob's eyes searched everywhere. You don't know that." "No, but I'm pretty confident that it won't. And if it does, I know how to protect us if anything bad happens." Rob just sat there quietly for a long time, but finally nodded. "Okay." "All right, let's walk." Gideon would change and grab coats for himself and Rob, and when Rob was ready, he would leave the apartment building and walk with him, staying quiet as they walked until Rob was ready to talk. Rob got dressed in the same clothes he was wearing before and took a deep breath as soon as they stepped foot outside. "So," Gideon would look at Rob as he spoke, a calm look on his face. "Nice morning," he said happily, looking at Rob. Rob looked around the dark sky. "It's not really morning." "Just because the sun isn't up doesn't mean it's not morning," Gideon said. "Once it's past midnight, the next day has begun." "That's fucking crazy," Rob said, shaking his head. "Sun's not up. It's not time to get up yet." Gideon shrugged. "If you say so, then. You can enjoy the night while I the morning." Rob cocked a brow at him, then laughed slightly. Gideon would smile at Rob, laughing. He always liked it when people laughed. "So, where do you want to go?" he asked, smiling. The boy looked at him like he was insane. "It's 3 a.m. Gideon said, "Yes, it is. There's a park nearby if you want to walk there, or we could go back upstairs. It's all up to you." We can go to the park, Rob shrugged. Gideon nodded and led the way, his hands in his pockets. I take Ava to this park sometimes, you know. Oh, do you want to talk about her? Gideon would shrug. We can talk about anything you want to talk about. Oh, jeez. Rob wasn't used to making decisions. It looked like his brain was short-circuiting. I don't know. How about, who's your favorite figure from history? Gideon said with a shrug. I don't know. I didn't learn a lot of history growing up. How about least favorite saint? Gideon said with a mischievous grin. Rob raised an eyebrow at the man again, judging over whether or not he was serious. Robert, he snorted, finally looking away. Ah, mine was Polycarp at Smyrna. Never knew how he was both the saint of earaches and dysentery, he said with a chuckle. Rob would laugh too, then, it's weird as fuck that we're talking about this. You're right, it is, Gideon would say with a laugh. I think maybe... Rob hesitated. Do you have, ice cream at your place? We might, Gideon said with a shrug. Though we could stop by a convenience store and get your favorite flavor if you want. I've never had it. But I think I do want to try something new, and I think I like that. Maybe? You won't know till you try it. Let's go get some, Gideon said with a smile, walking with Rob to the store. It was a 24/7 store, and when they entered, Gideon would gesture to it. Pick out whatever you like. Rob would look at him, a bit of confusion and hesitation on his face. He was not good at making decisions for himself. He gulped, then looked over the ice cream. Maybe this one? He picked out the vanilla. Vanilla's the most plain, right? Gideon nodded. Usually, yes, but there's also chocolate and strawberry. They're considered the most traditional flavors. Oh. Rob looked at both. I like strawberries, but I've never had chocolate. Is it good? Sure is. And if you want, we can get all three and try them out at home. I don't want to make you buy them all. And what if I don't like them? Ava will eat them. She'll say she won't, but she will, Gideon said with a half shrug. Okay, then. Rob nodded. Then, do people really do whatever they want when they're not religious? Like if there's no fear of hell? Not everyone. People are still fearful of what others think. And then there's ethics and morals that hold people back. And religion itself isn't bad, just people who twist it to control others is. Then why do people lie? He asked in reference to people not just being mean willy-nilly. Sometimes a lie is easier to hear than the truth. And where we're from, it's about control. They lie to make people fearful of the unknown and others so they can keep them there and control them. Rob looked down at that, eyeing the floor. I still don't know what I've been lied to about. I know, Gideon said, resting his hand on Rob's shoulder, but you'll be able to figure out the truth and the lies, and find what you think is right. Rob nodded. You know, I've been looking a lot into Greek mythology. I think it's pretty cool. Gideon would nod. It is. The Greeks made a lot of beautiful artwork celebrating them. If you want, we could go visit a museum and see it. Rob perked up a little at that. You think? I think that would be cool. Yeah, we could go to the library too and get some books on them. Maybe see if there's documentaries. We could do it all. Yeah, that'd be cool. Rob smiled a bit. Gideon would nod, picking up the ice cream and paying for all three. Who's your favorite Greek god? He'd say, adding quickly, or goddess. Probably Hades, Rob said. Yes, Hades. He is very cool, Gideon would say, having no idea who Hades was. Rob wouldn't be able to tell that he was confused. He just nodded. Yeah, he's the god of the underworld and the dead, which is really cool because... He stopped himself and frowned. Yes, sorry. People didn't usually like it when he went on and on about a subject, so he just went quiet. You don't have to be sorry. Tell me more, Gideon would say with a smile. Rob hesitated. Really? Yeah, of course. Tell me more about, Hades? Hades. Rob clarified and told him all about him as they walked back to the apartment. Gideon listened to Rob talk, asking him questions here and there, more about the Greeks and their gods. When they got back to the apartment, he would pull out bowls for Rob to put the ice cream in to try it out. All right, which flavor do you want first? Rob hesitated. Maybe strawberry? I like strawberries. Then there you go, Gideon said, pushing the bowl of strawberry ice cream up to Rob. Rob would hesitantly take a bite. Then his face would show disgust. All right, clear that strawberry isn't a winner, Gideon said with a laugh, bringing the wastebasket for Rob to spit up the strawberry. How about vanilla? Rob would look at the basket and swallow. I'm not going to puke. It's not that bad. All right, then, Gideon said, placing it back down. If Rob paid attention, there would be baskets hidden all around the apartment, almost as a precaution. Rob would hesitate at the next bowl of ice cream. Vanilla. Gideon would wait patiently for Rob to try it, and Rob took a bite, and didn't make a face, but didn't seem too excited either. So, what's the verdict on this one? Gideon asked hesitantly. Rob shrugged. It's okay. Then he looked down. Sorry. We have a winner, Gideon said happily. You don't need to apologize, you're just being honest. Rob nodded, then looked at the chocolate. Last one, Gideon said, pushing the chocolate towards Rob. I think I snuck some chocolate when I was in middle school, Rob admitted. They found out, though. I got in trouble, and I wasn't allowed to take communion. Nobody talked to me for like 3 weeks after that. He took in a deep breath and sighed. It also had some stuff in it, like jelly stuff. I didn't like it. It was a weird texture. Well, this is jelly stuff free, so no worries there. Rob smiled a little up at him and took a bite. His eyes widened slightly at the bite, and he smiled. This is really good, not bitter like the other stuff. Huzzah, Gideon said, raising his hands up in victory. Chocolate is the winner. Rob found himself snorting at that and covered his mouth with his hands. Gideon would laugh out loud, then let out a relaxed sigh. I'm glad you're feeling better. Rob paused. Hey, I am. Gideon pat Rob on the back. See, it's all going to be okay. Rob laughed a bit. Thanks. Hey, Gideon, you never asked me about my dream. Why? Gideon shrugged. 'Cause I know that if you want to tell me, you will. When you're ready to. Rob hesitated. No one had ever done that for him before. Waited for him to be ready. What if I'm too scared? Then you can take some time to process it and figure it out, Gideon said with a smile, reaching over and tapping Rob's shoulder. Rob would look at him as he tapped his shoulder. Hey, thanks for everything. I will always help you, Rob, Gideon said with a smile, then fading slowly as he looked at Rob. I'm sorry I couldn't help you earlier. Earlier? Rob asked, a bit confused. When you were younger, Gideon would clarify. I looked into every option that I could, but it would have gotten myself into so much trouble and not been any help to you. Rob licked his lips, a bit nervous. Oh, no, it's fine. He said the last word in a soft, almost whimsical tone. I'm fine. No, it's not fine, Gideon would say, looking down, and I'm going to make it up to you. You can stay here as long as you want, and I will support you with what you want to do, Gideon said, then adding, within reason. I will not support you becoming a bank robber. Rob actually laughed a little at the last statement. Didn't think you would, he almost sang, then stopped. What if I didn't want to go back to sleep tonight? Then we can stay up and just wait for the sun to rise, Gideon said calmly. Rob would be quiet for another minute, then look down. I don't want to fuck up your sleep schedule or anything. Nah, it's been out of whack for a while, Gideon would say with a wave of his hand. Okay, then. We could watch a movie. I know I have some books for Ava, though they're all children's books. Rob's forehead would crease in curiosity. How old is Ava? She's 6, Gideon said with a smile, clearly proud of her. Oh, that's nice. Rob showed no emotion on his face this time. What movies do you have? Gideon said, walking over and pulling out a large binder full of DVDs. We have these. Most of them are kids' movies. he said, holding it out for Rob. Rob looked through the films. No, like, PG-13 stuff? You know, for you. I have Lord of the Rings in there. Inglourious Basterds, which is rated R. Very heavy movie. There's also The Hangover. What are those about? Rob asked, tilting his head. Which one? Gideon asked, walking over and sitting down on the couch. Those three you just mentioned. Lord of the Rings is this epic fantasy story about good fighting evil. Fantastic film. Fantastic book series, too. Inglourious Basterds is about World War II, so you have Nazis and bloodshed. Might not be your speed as a first movie, though. And The Hangover is a comedy about four guys who go to Las Vegas and get into hilarious trouble. Very funny stuff. Gideon explained. I don't like fantasy. That's like princesses and shit, right? And no. God, no. No bloodshed. A comedy sounds nice. Alright, The Hangover it is then, Gideon said, extending his hand out momentarily, then freezing. He would then retract his hand, standing up, and manually putting the disc in and starting the movie. Rob would look at him, clearly confused. No offense, but what are you doing? Gideon would chuckle sheepishly. I was going to use my powers, but they can be a bit much at times and look really scary. I can show and explain it better once you're settled and you feel ready to see it. Oh. Rob would squirm a bit uncomfortably at that. Okay. Yeah, it's not the most visually pleasing, Gideon said with a soft smile. But it's very useful, and you get used to it. Oh, okay, Rob said again, eyes plastered on the TV. As the movie played, Gideon would laugh out loud at the funny moments, leaning back on the couch as he watched the movie. Rob laughed as well, sometimes, but mostly stayed silent. He seemed to be trying to keep himself awake as well. Once the movie was over, Gideon would look at the clock. 6:15 a.m. It's morning time, he said with a smile. If you want, I can call out of work today, spend the day with you, getting more clothes and things you need. Rob hesitated. I don't want to make you miss work. But he was afraid of falling asleep as well if the man left him alone. How about this, Gideon said, standing up. If I go into the office for an hour or two, then I'll come back, and we have a good day. I also get Ava today, so I can call her mom and see if I can pick her up from school early to go shopping with us, he said with a smile. Rob would nod at that. Okay, yeah, that sounds good. We have a good plan then. Let me get freshened up and changed before I head into work. You have just finished The Psychic, Episode 7. Thanks for watching.